Good.
Good to see you. How did practice go today?
Practice was good. Got a lot done. Both ends of the floor. It was good. And everybody's starting to feel a little healthier, a little better. So it was good.
One of the observations I've been making is it seems like this last stretch of weeks, Rui has just been really aggressive, made some great defensive stops, made some good offensive plays.
Yep.
What do you think probably clicked for her to kind of take that aggressive step?
Good question. Just that, we've continued to tell her that we need her, to be aggressive, and that she can have, an impact on us winning. And her teammates have continued to encourage her. And I think that's, a big part of, when everybody's got your back. And then she's, helps to see the ball go in a few times too. And, she's just, that helps your aggressiveness too.
And then just going up to Seattle with playoff basketball, possessions matter. Just what's the mindset going into that first game one?
Do the things we do well. We know we're a good defensive team. Stick to the game plan. Be on a rope defensively as far as, being connected. Offensively, I think we've learned what we can do better as the season has gone on. Take advantage of our strengths and stay out of, tough situations. We know there's places on the floor against them where they trap more or they do other things, and, be efficient about what we do and, make some shots.
Any other in-person questions?
Nope.
Okay, then we'll go to Tyler.
Hey, Coach, I'm sorry if you addressed it already, but is Tosh good to go for Seattle?
She did about 2/3 of the practice today. A lot of the live, more than we thought she might. We were going to try to rest her a little bit more, but she felt good enough to do more. So she is good to go.
And that's 100%, no limitations, anything like that?
We didn't have any today. I mean, we thought we were going to just put them on her just to kind of rein her in a little bit. But she felt like she wanted to try some of the stuff, just to make sure that she's kind of ready to go. She sat out a couple drills, but in general, I mean, she did all of our up and down stuff at the end of practice. So
good news.
Yeah.
You mentioned the defense and how you guys are a good defensive team. I know that's something that you have been focused on this entire year and constructing this roster too, and having this defense kind of help maybe carry you through some offensive lulls this season. Is this a championship winning defensive squad?
I mean, I think we've proven that we are right now. I mean, we ended up the number one in defensive rated team by every metric. So I think that, that speaks well. It's got to hold up in the playoffs, but I think that we are very good as a team at following scouting reports and, trying to take away certain things from teams, and know, what we're giving and what we're taking. And I think that will carry over. And now it's just a matter of two pretty even teams who can get an edge somewhere. And I think our defense will hold up.
Thank you, Mike.
Takashi.
Hello, Coach.
Hi.
Thank you for your time. My name is Takeshi Shibata from Tokyo. I'm again asking about Rui Machida. She just played all 36 games, and
one of only 3 players on our team to do that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I think so my question is, what do you make of her growth throughout the season? What was getting really better, and did she actually outplay your expectation preseason?
I don't know that I had a specific expectation of what to think. I think probably she has outplayed everybody's expectations on the defensive end. On the offensive end, we knew that she would, help us with our tempo, that she would make great passes. I think she has struggled the most, and she would be the first to admit it, kind of trying to get a shooting rhythm with this team in the WNBA. If you're not willing to shoot, people know that, and they don't guard you as tight, and they make you the one that's open. And then I think she's adjusted to that, particularly the last month. and has been much more aggressive. I think that's been her biggest growth is is offensively is in that area the last month. And it's, our team needs that. I mean, we saw it the other night in Indiana where she pushed the pace, had 6 assists, and she was, very aggressive.
And just one follow-up, I checked the shooting stats of her, and I just found out that in the less than 5 feet area, she took almost 29-30% of entire her field goal attempts. So how do you like it?
Well, I
So-
like that she makes people pay for not coming. People are afraid that she's going to make a pass when she drives. So post players are reluctant to come and help knowing that she'll make a pass. So what she has to do is go to the rim and finish those to get people to play her honestly. And she's done that more aggressively.
Okay, thank you so much. ありがとうございました。
Nathan,
Happy Tuesday. How are you?
Good. I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Not much.
Okay. Sound a little better?
You mean, you don't have any volume to speak of.
Oh, wow.
while Nathan figures that out, let's go to Patrick.
Hey, Coach, how you doing today?
Great. Thanks.
All right. Hey, one of the goals that your team had this year, obviously you accomplished it by making it to the playoffs. I just want to kind of get your thoughts just coming into camp, media day, just your expectations for this team from now, I guess from then to now, just kind of what are your thoughts as far as where the team is at right now?
I mean, I think like you said, the first thing you got to do to be able to play for a championship is make the playoffs. And, that was the first goal. But now I think, we're in a position to compete. We feel like we can beat all the best teams. We feel like we're one of them. We've beaten all of them, a couple of them multiple times. I think that, you want to have the opportunity. We're probably faced with what people would say is the toughest first round series because the teams are so evenly matched. And that's typical of the 4 or 5 matchup in most situations. Teams are, when we tied record wise, we have similar philosophies, similar defenses. So it's going to be, an opportunity for us to see which team can execute just a little bit better than the other one, stay to the scouting report a little bit better. And so I think our team has grown throughout the year to handle those kind of situations. I think we've gotten better offensively over the last month. And so I think, we've done what we hoped we do. Now you have an opportunity. Can you take advantage of it or not?
I mean, can you talk a little bit just about Shakira, just like kind of where she's at as well? Of course, you talked about not really certain how many minutes she would play initially, but
Yeah.
it turned out to her playing a lot this year for you.
Well, and I would say she's been a surprise in that regard. Not that in her skill set, but what, how ready she was when we threw her in there, when Elizabeth was late and Elena wasn't playing every day and Myisha was hurt off and on, and we had all the minute limitations. She came out and proved that she was ready to play in this league more so than probably anybody thought. And she's been a huge contributor to our team. I mean, we have a rookie who's come in and started ahead of some veterans and earned her spot and kept her spot. And she's one of our other ones that's played every game. And, that's a testament to her and to the assistant coaches who have worked with her and her teammates who have been both pushing her and patient with her at the same time, because I think you need both when you have a young player like that.
All right. Thank you. Good luck.
You bet.
And then last question, Nathan.
Hey, Coach, can you hear me now?
Sort of.
Okay. Sorry. Good afternoon. I just wanted to get your thoughts on, you being the winningest coach. Who was that coach for you when you were coming along in the NBA and the WNBA to give you your poise and just the coach that you are today, who was that coach for you in your coming up?
I don't know that there's one. I think there's, different stages of your career. There are different ones. I mean, I started out as a high school assistant coach, and I had head coaches back then. And a guy named Tom Cassane, who was a varsity coach at a high school that I coached at Archbishop Mitty in San Jose, California. He taught me about the value of scouting and learning, how to know opponents inside out, and scouting your own team to know your own strengths and weaknesses. My role model probably as a coach for a lot when I was younger, I grew up on the West Coast with John Wooden being, the coach. And I got a chance to know Coach Wooden. I worked his camp several weeks every summer. And I think I learned kind of two things from him. One was, no matter what else you want to do, it always comes back to fundamentals. That if your team can't do fundamental things right, you're going to struggle. And I think that's always stuck with me, that he was always a back to basics coach, footwork and balance and all of those things. And, that stayed with me. And then his patience. I think that, he had a calmer demeanor than I do probably. But it was something, to watch. Obviously he had great teams with great talent, but he was able to take different players and different styles and make them, mold them together and adjust to the talent that he had, and so, he was blessed at a time where, for a stretch he had Bill Walton and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and they played one way. And then he didn't have those low post centers, and he played with high post centers who passed and screened and did those things. And so I think, you learn adaptability. I've been around, I've worked for good pro coaches, Coach Westhead, Coach Lockery, Coach Albeck, Coach Carl, all of those guys. They're all different styles. And so you try to pick and choose what you like from each of them. And then you study other coaches just in general. I mean, every off season that I've been able to, I've tried to go and spend a couple days with a different NBA team and watch, what they do in practice. I've spent time at Golden State. I've spent time at San Antonio and a couple other places. And so, you learn different ways of doing things, and you try to steal from each coach something that they do really well. And I'm still doing that. I talk to NBA coaches and assistants and, pick their brains, the trends that are coming in the game, and see what you can do to steal from those. If you don't keep learning as a coach, you're not going to get any better.
And my last one for me is Kia Vaughn. She announced her retirement. She came with you in 2013 when you changed the culture for the Washington Mystics.
Right.
Just talk about what, as a player, did she mean to you as a coach? And if those that didn't know Kia Vaughn, what was a couple things you could say about her?
Well, Kia Vaughn, first of all, brought a couple things. One, a toughness that this organization badly needed, that she was willing to take on any other opposing post player, whether they were big, short, fast, it didn't matter. She was willing to take them on. She had a discipline about her every day of going about her business. And I thought our team here needed somebody who, was a great example every day of how to be a good pro. And I thought of Kia all the time as a good pro. Even watching her earlier this year in Atlanta, come and do her pregame preparation. It was no different than what she did, 10 years ago when she came here. And that's a model of consistency. And I think, when you look at pro players who last a long time, it's their consistency of effort and demeanor and focus that has a lot to do with it. And, she was a great screener, a great mid-range shooter, knew how to use the glass inside, but, followed a defensive scouting report and was just a great teammate. I think that, always stood out to me, and I've always appreciated people like her who maybe don't get all the headlines all the time, but are huge fundamental pieces of a good team.
Appreciate you. Safe travels to Seattle,
Yep,
Coach.
thank you.
I lied. We have one more last question to Lisa.
Cool. Thanks, Coach. What would you say is the biggest challenge that the Storm present for you, or what is the biggest key as you face them in this series?
Well, I think the fact that they have such a wide range of offensive skills. I mean, you're talking about Brianna Stewart, who's an MVP candidate, who you obviously have to draw a lot of attention to. You have one of the best point guards in the history of the game in Sue Bird. You have a dynamic shooting guard in Jewel Lloyd. You have Tina Charles, who's been a leading scorer and rebounder in this league for a lot of her career. And then you add in a glue piece on the wing in Gabby Williams, who does kind of all their dirty work and can handle the ball. And then all of a sudden you turn around and you see their bench, and they got, Ezzy Magbiger is one of the best young post players, in a veteran like Epiphany Prince and Brianne January coming in the game, Stephanie Talbot. I mean, they go 9 or 10 deep with really good pro basketball players. And it's, it's one of the reasons they've had success, is they can run different players and combinations out there to go at you. And then their coaching staff has done such a good job of putting pieces in the right place. When you play Seattle, it's like a chess match the entire game. Okay, they did this, what are we going to do? We do this, what are they going to do? And they always present a challenge of always having an answer for something, because they're very great about their spacing and putting you in tough situations. And so defensively, you have to be able to make adjustments on the fly. You have to be able to stay disciplined about what you think is the most important thing, and not get lulled into, doing the wrong things defensively. All of a sudden somebody ends up with a wide open three. It's going to happen. But how many times in a game does that happen is the big key. Can you stick to your plan the whole game against them? Because if you don't, they're going to make you pay.
Thanks so much.
You bet.
That's it, Coach. Thank you.
Yep.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Mai unfortunately had to run because we have a flight this afternoon, but she's on Zoom right now. If there's any questions, we'll start with in-person first. So Wayne, if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead. Go ahead, Wayne.
Know how you were feeling, and also safe travels to Seattle.
Yes, how I'm feeling?
Yes.
I feel great.
Any other in-person questions? Then we'll go to Tyler.
Hey, Myisha, good to see that you're back with the team and doing well. I want to ask, does this season feel, how different does this season feel for you? Because I know the last 2 years, you guys have been battling up to the final week to try and get into the playoffs, and you're successful one of those times. This year, it's a little different. So how does it feel being back in the playoffs and in this spot?
Yeah, definitely feels good to be back in the playoffs. Sefu actually, when we were talking to Kira yesterday, he was like, he's grateful that, you know, like, we made it to the playoffs, but the job isn't done. So it kind of like, at first I was like used to being in the playoffs, right? Because my first year we get always the finals. Second year we win it. Third year we're fighting for it. Fourth year last year we didn't make it to the playoffs. So it's kind of like, at first I was like used to like, you know, making it to the playoffs. Last year it's definitely like a slap in the face. Like it's not that easy to make it to the playoffs. So definitely feels good to be back in the playoffs and, you know, fighting for another championship.
In this season, Mike and the coaches have impressed so much of the defensive intensity and defensive efforts that he wants this season. What are your thoughts on the team's defense, especially going into this matchup against Seattle?
I definitely think that, first of all, numbers don't lie. So we're like the number one team on the defensive end. So I guess you could say like, yeah, numbers don't lie with that. But like our intensity, yeah, like we come in every single game looking to, you know, do the game plan because the coaches do a great job of making sure like we're prepared and we know exactly what we have to do. So I think going into this game, we'll be ready again to know, first of all, know the game plan, execute the game plan. But yeah.
Thanks, Myisha. Safe travels.
Thank you. Oh, this should be
Last question to Nathan.
Good afternoon, Myisha. Hope you're feeling better. Been praying for you. Glad to see you're back with the team.
Thank you.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on, you know, you've been in this atmosphere before. Just talk about from, you know, even when you were at Louisville, who was that coach or that veteran, I mean, that leader in the locker room, even with the Mystics, that get you mentally prepared for this kind of, for the playoffs?
Who's the leader in the locker room that gets us ready for the playoffs?
Like how, like when you're like, who was that when you started with the Mystics, even now when come playoffs, like even in Louisville,
Yeah.
who was that person for you, and how can you instill that into like Evina or Rui, Elizabeth, for example?
Yeah. So at Louisville, it was my senior year. That was the only year we went to the Final Four. So I was the only senior. So I guess like I was the person, but like none of us knew what it meant to fight for a championship and, you know, to get to a Final Four, what it took to get to a Final Four, except for my college coaches, like Coach Wall. So he knew, and Coach Norman. So like they knew like what it took. So it was more so just like, I guess myself and like the other like juniors to take upon ourselves to like, you know, teach the freshmen, I guess, sophomores, I guess, like how to do it. But in the W, I had some great vets from the beginning, like with Monique Curry, TRP, Pratt. So like that's always, Toya too. So like that's always great when I can come into a program and have great veterans who not only want to succeed for themselves and be the best player and, you know, professional athlete for themselves, but also want to help the younger generation get better too. So yeah, so I had some great vets, you know, along my way. Right now, you know, our leaders, Tosh, Elena, AC. Oh, sorry, they're not letting me over. Okay, thank you, sir. Sorry, I'm driving too. So, yeah, we got some great leaders on this team in our locker room that knows what it takes to win a championship. Who's been there before. So I guess it's just about, you know, everyone's bought in. So like it's not about who wants to listen or not or take it. I think everyone wants to win a championship. Another championship, I should say. So yeah, it's good when you have that.
Drive safe and have a safe flight to Seattle, Myisha. Appreciate it.
Oh, now you want to give a drive safe.
Thanks,
you.
Mai.
Bye.
Evina's ready. Evina, whenever you're ready, we'll start with in-person questions.
All right. That's crazy.
First off, you just finished the first W of the season.
Mhm.
What were some of the positives you like? What are some of the things you learned about yourself?
I think just the whole process was a learning process for sure. Was crazy to say the least. A lot going on, but honestly, I wouldn't trade my journey for anybody else's. And I think that's the biggest phrase I was hearing throughout my process was everyone's process, everyone's journey is different. So just taking it day by day, not taking stuff for granted. And just I feel like I have a whole different worth ethic now, just with everything that I've been through. So there's a lot of fuel that was added to my fire, just desire and passion, all that. And I feel like that was needed. So definitely everything happens for a reason. And I'm glad everything did happen.
Now that you were here, what was one of your favorite Mystics moments?
Honestly, it was recently we had just went to Capitol Girl as a team. So just kind of getting to know everyone just outside of basketball for the first time. Not for like obviously off the court and traveling and stuff like that, but just being in that type of setting. Just it just makes, I love that type of stuff, getting to know people outside of basketball, their personality, their sense of humor. So now like I'm talking to Della all the time, talking to Tori all the time. So just little things like that just makes me feel more comfortable and more at home. I've already felt like at home, but I definitely feel like I'm a part of the family now.
And then last one, just sometimes it's funny how life works out. Here you are, Washington Mystic going to Seattle.
Yeah.
Just how ironic is that? And what do you look forward to the most?
Yeah, no, like you said, everything happens for a reason. And it is ironic and it's funny. And I definitely can't wait to get back there, West Coast kid, and definitely gonna be back in my element and stuff like that. But no, it's crazy. That's where I started, it's where I got drafted, and to be back there at playoffs. And I just want my team to go and get it, really.
Appreciate you.
Tyler?
Hi, Evina. I have a quick question about Tosh. This season, she put together a great season, getting the Peak Performer Award. But I'm curious for you, what was it like watching her play this year and what she's able to do on the court for the team?
First of all, she's an amazing leader, amazing person. First of all, but just like I said, just the way that she leads, everyone just responds to her, respects her, her worth ethic, how she knows the game. And she's super smart, and the credit that she was able to give to get this year with all the work that she's put in, it honestly isn't enough. She's done a lot. She's just Tosh is one of my favorite people, honestly, has become one of my favorite people. No, but she's done amazing things this year, and I'm glad she's finally getting the credit that she deserves.
Thank you, Evina. Have a safe flight.
Thank you.
We only have time for one more question, so we'll go to Patrick.
Make it a good one, Pat.
Hey, Evina, I kind of want to piggyback a little bit on an earlier question. The last time I had a chance to talk to you, it was a lot of change. You just got here. Just what does Washington mean to you now? Now that you know, hey, this is a place that I've been, little stability, able to get comfortable. Just what does this area, what does this team mean to you now?
I was just so grateful, and I still am as soon as I got here, just to be able to give in the chance that I was getting, to be on a roster for more than a month. But no, it's been great. And I just feel like, I kind of said it earlier, I felt like I was a part of the team, but just getting to know everyone, talking to everyone, having them talk to me, and just little things like that, I really do feel like I'm a part of the family. And I've made relationships with people that I'm going to have for the rest of my WNBA career. And I feel like that's really awesome to say. Not a lot of people can say that. I played against and with, a lot of talented athletes, and I've met a lot of great people. And that's something that I'll be able to say, and until my days of bouncing the ball, my days of breathing is over. That was kind of deep, but yeah. That was deep.
And I got a real quick one to throw in there.
Go ahead, throw it in there.
You made a nice block last game,
you.
and you got a lot of attention about it. The fans definitely loved it. They enjoyed it. Just kind of thoughts on that play.
No, that's one of the things the fans, Husky fans, Washington fans, they have been with me through my whole process. They were so, Mystics fans were just so open, welcomed me with open arms as soon as I stepped into DC. And so just to have that love from them, that's how I play. I got dog in me. So it's gonna be shown at some point. And I know my time is coming. I'm gonna wait for my time. But I got it in me. I want people to know.
All right. Thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Evina.
Yeah. No, yeah, they